Hi, I'm Miss Feelito, and I am in Nachi's head, and I represent her feelings. Nachi is a very happy girl and goes to college. Nachi enjoys being around her friends, and they're always having the biggest fun, whether they are reading, dancing, eating, or hanging out at the college. Nachi is always there for her friends and looks out for their real feelings. They're Feelitos. I remember that one time that her friend told Nachi that a guy yelled my size. She was so ashamed and sad after that incident. Nachi comforted her friend but did not understand why she didn't say anything back. But on one day, Nachi experienced the shock of her life. She was at the canteen minding her own business, and all of a sudden something happened. Everything went so fast. Nachi felt a hand clutch on her waist. She didn't believe what was happening. It was broad daylight. She turned around and saw Mose leaning close to her and trying to kiss her. His friends were at a distance, laughing out loud without a care in the world. She couldn't believe how cruel these boys were being. Nachi's face was hot with anger, even as she heard the canteen lady shout at Mose to leave her alone. She yelled at him, told him to leave her alone. She couldn't believe that he thought it was okay to clutch her waist and kiss her without her permission. Nachi was fighting back tears, all the while feeling incredibly alone. Frankly, she was scared and she didn't know what Mose was capable of. Luckily, another student stepped in and asked Mose to leave her alone. She felt relieved and supported by him. In that moment, she didn't feel so alone. He told Nachi that his name is Isaac. He advised her to go to the senior woman teacher. In Nachi's mind, she thought the senior woman teacher might blame her. Her mind was full, and Nachi thought she might say it is because of how she was dressed, or maybe the earrings, or even her hairstyle. Nachi was quite hesitant, but Isaac managed to convince her to go. He reassured her that she had nothing to worry about. Nachi met the senior woman teacher. She was warm and welcoming. Nachi was still afraid to speak, thinking that the senior woman teacher might blame her. However, Isaac told the senior woman teacher what had happened, and she was understanding. She reminded Nachi that it is not her fault and she should not be ashamed. She assured Nachi that she was going to follow up with Mose.
Hello, I am Mose's Feelito. I represent Mose's inner feelings. Mose was called to the administration room by the senior woman teacher. He was very afraid of the consequence of his selfish act. As he approached the senior woman teacher, he saw the rage in her face. She was angry and looked disappointed in him. She scolded him and let him know that he will be punished. At that moment, Mose felt embarrassed and guilty of what he had done to Nach. She asked him to explain why he assaulted Nach. Let me tell you what happened. Mose and his friends were waiting for the lunch bell to ring. His friends were teasing him about his shyness, and their words stung so much. Mose kept thinking to himself that they were right. He felt like there was something wrong with him. After all, he was the only one in his group that didn't have a girlfriend. Their jokes were frustrating for Mose, but he didn't ever show them because of the fear of them taunting him more. He just kept it cool and smiled, but deep down, he was hurting. Thankfully, the lunch bell rang, and Mose and his friends went to pick their food. After getting their food, they walked to the canteen to buy some chipoli. That is when Mose saw Nach. He instantly decided to prove to his friends that he is brave enough to approach a girl like Nach. Against his better judgment, Mose tapped Nach's waist a little and tried to kiss her. He heard his friends laugh and he knew that they were approving of his actions. But the canteen woman started yelling at Mose. Nachi started yelling at him too. He felt scared. Everyone was staring and his friends were now quiet. Mose was embarrassed, Normally, he wouldn't do something like that. Before he could even speak, Isaac came and pushed Mose away from Nachi. Mose knew he was in big trouble, but then he didn't care. He was more embarrassed and angry with himself for letting his insecurities lead him to attack Nachi.
Nachi is glad that the college has come up with a safe place to talk openly about gender-based violence and also how to prevent more incidents from happening. If you have been attacked before, remember it is important to confide in someone you trust and do not blame yourself. And as a bystander, if you witness someone being attacked, you can call for help or intervene, depending on the situation. Don't let anyone lead you into abusing one another. Therefore, look out for each other.